Nearly 60% of motorcycle breakdowns aren't bad luck, they're rider mistakes. Yes, you could be murdering your bike every ride without even knowing it. Worst of all, one hidden killer is so subtle, it fools even the experts. Hang in, because I'm not only exposing these 17 motorcycle killers, but I've also got 2 bonus tips that could save your machine. Let's save your motorcycle from an early grave. Habit number 17, running low on fuel. This one sparks fights even among veterans. Some say, ride it till empty. Wrong. That's like starving your bike and hoping it thanks you. You bought it. Treat it like an investment, not a disposable toy. Here's the truth. Your fuel pump isn't just a straw. It actually sits in the tank, bathing in gasoline. That fuel cools it, lubricates it, keeps it alive. Run low too often, and the pump runs hot. Hot pumps burn out. Guess who's buying a new one? You. And it's not just heat. Down at the bottom of every tank, ugly stuff collects. Rust, dirt, even water from ethanol separation. When you scrape the barrel, that sludge goes straight into your fuel lines. Filters clog, injectors cry. Suddenly your cheap top-up later costs you a full cleaning job, or worse, an engine rebuild. So no, it's not about saving a few bucks. It's about saving your bike's heart. Keep your tank above a quarter full. You will be ensuring your pump, your injectors, and your sanity. And here's the irony. Running too low kills it, but filling too high? That carries a whole different kind of death sentence. We'll get to that twist in habit number 14. Habit number 16, power washing the wrong way. We all love a shiny bike. Nothing feels better than rolling out on a machine that looks showroom fresh. Cleaning is good maintenance. But here's the trap. Treat your motorcycle like a car with a pressure washer, and you're slowly destroying it. Unlike cars, your bike's engine and electronics sit exposed. High-pressure water doesn't just bounce off, it forces its way in, past wheel bearings, switchgear, connectors, and even engine seals. The grease that keeps those bearings alive is blasted away. The tiny rubber boots guarding your electrics, torn open by pressure. Now you have rust in your wheels, corrosion in your wiring, and gremlins that show up months later when you least expect them. And the real danger is, it doesn't happen overnight. You'll think your wash routine is harmless, until one day a switch fails, your wheel seizes, or the starter button dies in the rain. All because of yesterday's quick wash. Ditch the power wash. Use a gentle hose, avoid sensitive spots, and hand dry with a cloth. Your bike deserves love, not water torture. Water blasting your bearings is bad enough. But what if I told you some riders choose an even sneakier poison? One they pour in willingly every few thousand miles. Habit number 15, cheaping out on oil. Oil is your motorcycle's lifeblood. Get it wrong, and the engine doesn't just complain, it dies. Yet too many riders fall for backstreet deals and mystery oils with fancy labels. They promise performance, but inside that bottle, cut corners, fake additives, and sometimes recycled junk. Motorcycle engines run hotter and harder than cars. They spin at insane RPMs. They share oil with the gearbox and clutch. That means they need oil meeting JSO MA or MA2 standards, formulated to protect your engine and keep your clutch from slipping. Skip that, and you're basically feeding poison to your bike. And for what? To save 10 bucks? That tiny saving turns into a $2,000 rebuild when bearings fail, gears grind, or the clutch turns into butter. False economy at its finest. Premium oil isn't luxury, it's survival. It cools, lubricates, and shields your engine against heat and friction. So don't cheap out. Your bike deserves better than bargain bin sludge. You wouldn't think the same liquid that keeps your bike alive could also be its silent killer. But wait until you see what happens when you just can't resist squeezing in a little extra. Smash like, hit subscribe, let's keep rolling. Habit number 14, topping off gas. The pump clicks, and instead of stopping, you squeeze in just a little more. Maybe it's to round off the cents. Maybe you want one more mile before the next stop. Feels harmless, right? Wrong. That last squeeze is slowly killing your bike. Modern motorcycles have a vapor recovery system. It's designed to let fuel vapors breathe, not liquid gasoline. When you overfill, fuel floods the charcoal canister meant only for vapor. Once it's soaked, it clogs. Now your bike runs rich, chokes on fuel, and smells like a gas station. And it doesn't stop there. Overfilling leaves no room for expansion. Heat makes gasoline expand fast, and suddenly fuel seeps out, down your paint, onto hot parts, straight to the ground. It's messy, dangerous, and expensive to fix. All for what? An extra mile? A satisfying round number on the pump? That little click could cost you hundreds in repairs. So stop when it clicks. Let the pump do its job. Gasoline belongs in the tank, not everywhere else. And speaking of things out of place, wait till you hear what happens when bolts don't get the respect they deserve. Habit number 13. Torquing wrong bolts to wrong specs. This habit is everywhere, and the cost is massive. Bolts look similar, so riders think, tight is tight. That mindset wrecks motorcycles faster than you realize. Every bolt has a specific job. Some hold plastics. Others clamp your forks or seal the oil drain. Use the wrong torque, or worse, guess with feel, and you're asking for disaster. Over-tighten, and you strip threads or crack the part. Under-tighten, and the bolt backs out while you ride. Imagine your fork pinch bolt letting go at highway speed. Not fun. The worst part? Damage doesn't always scream right away. Stress fractures hide inside metal. Months later, they snap without warning. That's when you're stuck on the roadside, or worse, sliding across it. And don't forget the money burn. Snap a few bolts, and suddenly you're paying $250 for replacements you didn't need. Add labor, and that quick tighten gets very expensive. The fix is simple. Respect torque specs. Use a proper torque wrench. Your bike's manual gives exact numbers. Follow them like scripture, because bolts aren't just metal, they're guardians holding your machine together. Habit number 12, skipping air filter change. Think of this. You go for a sprint with socks stuffed in your mouth. You're gasping, wheezing, suffocating. That's exactly what your motorcycle feels when you ignore the air filter. Engines breathe. Air mixes with fuel, makes power, and pushes you forward. A clogged filter starves that process. Less air, more struggle. Your bike runs rich, drinks more fuel, and loses the crisp throttle you love. Performance dies a slow death, all because of dust and grime. But it's not just about airflow. Dirt, sand, and bugs are always trying to sneak in. A fresh filter blocks them. A dirty one lets them pass. And those tiny particles? They grind your cylinders like sandpaper. That skip turns into a full rebuild with thousands gone in smoke. Many riders delay the swap thinking one more ride won't hurt, but every dusty mile adds up. And unlike oil, you can't see the damage until it's too late. Don't gamble with your bike's lungs. Check lean or replace that filter on schedule. There's no one-size-fits-all rule. Your riding conditions decide. Dusty trails choke it faster than clean highways. Learn your environment, inspect often, and act before it's too late. Habit number 11, believing in lifetime fluids. What in life truly has no shelf date? Milk? No. Tires? Definitely not. Even you and me, we expire too. So why do some riders believe coolant and brake fluid last forever? Newsflash, they don't. Coolant isn't magic juice. It's a mix of chemicals fighting corrosion and controlling heat. Over time, those chemicals die off. Keep running it, and rust creeps into your radiator, water pump, and engine. Soon, your bike overheats, and you're steaming on the roadside. Brake fluid is even sneakier. It absorbs water from the air, slowly, quietly. That moisture lowers its boiling point. Hit the brakes hard, and the lever suddenly feels soft, or worse, drops to the bar. That's brake fade. The trap is, these fluids look fine, clear in the sight glass, harmless in the radiator, but inside, they're quietly turning against you. That's why the lifetime myth survives, because the danger hides until it's too late. Replace coolant every 2 years. Swap brake fluid every year or two. It is fast, cheap, and life-saving. Habit number 10, ignoring chain alignment. Everyone obsesses over oil changes. Fresh oil, happy engine. But what about your chain? That unsung hero spinning every ride. Ignore its alignment, and you're setting up a slow, painful disaster. A misaligned chain doesn't just look off, It chews through your sprockets like a hungry rat. Teeth wear unevenly. Tension goes crazy. Vibration creeps in. And suddenly your smooth ride feels like a rattling shopping cart. When you keep pushing, the damage snowballs. The chain stretches unevenly. Sprockets hook, and one day, it snaps. Picture this. 70-mile chain snaps, wheel locks. You're skidding, not riding. That's the price of neglect. The worst part? Most riders don't even check. They clean the chain, slap on lube, and ride away. But alignment matters just as much as lubrication. It keeps power flowing straight and smooth, saves your sprockets, and keeps you safe. The fix is simple. Use proper tools, a chain alignment tool, or even the marks on your swing arm. Check often and adjust carefully. 5 minutes now saves hundreds later. Respect your chain. It's literally what keeps your ride moving. Habit number 9, overloading the electrical system. We all love cool gadgets. Extra lights, heated grips, USB chargers, that shiny phone mount glowing like a spaceship cockpit. But here's the shocker. Your motorcycle's electrical system isn't a bottomless pit of power. It was built with limits, and pushing past them is a fast way to fry it. Every accessory you add demands juice. The stator makes it, the regulator balances it, and the wiring carries it. Overload the system, and you're asking for blown fuses, dead batteries, or worse, melted wires under your seat. And trust me, nothing ruins a ride faster than the smell of burning plastic. The factory setup is no accident. Engineers sized your charging system for what the bike needs, not for you to hang a Christmas tree on it. Ignore that, and one day, your bike clicks, refuses to start, and leaves you stranded with a cool-looking dead machine. Do the math. Check your bike's charging capacity before adding accessories. Choose wisely, upgrade components if needed, and never assume it'll handle it. Fried wires and melted fuses come from one thing: riders treating their bike like a power strip. And if that wasn't bad enough, some bolt-on upgrades that do more harm than help. Habit number 8, installing unnecessary mods. You want your bike to stand out. Louder exhaust, fancy levers, neon lights, or that eBay performance chip that promises 20 more horsepower. Unfortunately, not every mod is an upgrade. Some are just murder in disguise. Cheap exhausts, they might look mean, but many kill back pressure, mess with fueling, and make your engine run hotter. Those bargain air filters, they let in more dirt than air. And don't get me started on flashy LED kits spliced into your wiring. They drain your battery and fry circuits. The worst part, most riders install mods without checking compatibility. Your bike was engineered as a complete system. Mess with one piece, and you throw everything off balance. Suddenly, the smooth factory ride feels jerky, rattly, and unreliable, all for looks. Mods can be good if they're quality, tested, and installed right, but stacking random, unnecessary add-ons? That's like feeding your bike junk food and expecting Olympic performance. So ask yourself, does this mod add real value or just Instagram likes? Moving on, there's one habit that sounds even cooler. Literally, riders love to hear it, but their engines absolutely hate it. Habit number 7, cold revving. Someone yanks you out of bed at 5 a.m., throws you running shoes, and shouts, "Sprint a marathon." Sounds cruel, right? That's exactly what cold revving does to your motorcycle. Engines don't wake up instantly. Oil is thick when cold and hasn't fully circulated. Slam the throttle early and metal parts grind dry, starving for lubrication. You're literally shaving years off your engine with every cold rev. But riders love to hear that roar. It feels powerful, satisfying, even rebellious. Truth is, it's slow motion murder. Cold revving overheats pistons, stresses bearings, and weakens valves. You won't see the damage today, but months later, you'll wonder why your engine sounds like a coffee grinder. Instead, treat your bike like a partner, not a punching bag. Start it, let it idle, and give the oil a minute to do its job. Ride gently until the temperature climbs. Then, and only then, unleash the beast. Warm up smart, but don't over-idle either. Too much idling just dumps fuel into your oil and cooks your exhaust. Balance is key. Now let's talk about one bad habit that keeps your left hand busy and your wallet empty. Habit number 6. Riding the clutch. At stoplights, you hold the clutch halfway, bike in gear, waiting for green. Feels quicker, right? Less hassle, faster launch. But here's the truth. You're slowly burning your clutch alive. Clutch plates are designed for engagement, not endless half holds. That constant slip creates heat, wears friction plates, and weakens springs. Do it often, and one day the clutch bites back, with slipping gears and expensive rebuild bills. At stoplights, pop it into neutral. Let the clutch lever out fully, hands relaxed, bike resting, no pressure burning away your clutch pack. When the light's about to change, then pull in, shift to first, and get ready to roll. Smooth, efficient, and painless. The habit of riding the clutch doesn't just wear parts, it tires you out. Always half squeezing the lever is like carrying a stress ball on every ride. Your wrist aches, your bike suffers, and your wallet eventually cries. So stop roasting your clutch at red lights. Use neutral, use timing, and let your bike breathe. Habit number 5, mixing old and new oil. Oil is your bike's immune system. It protects, cleans, and shields every moving part. But some riders treat it like leftovers. Top it off, mix it up, and hope for the best. Big mistake. Here's trap number 1, pouring new oil over old, worn-out sludge. That old oil has already lost its additives and collected dirt. Mixing just dilutes the good stuff. Your engine still runs on junk. Trap number 2, the dusty half bottle on your shelf. You opened it months ago, then forgot. Once cracked, oil begins pulling in moisture and breaking down. Adding it later is like pouring stale soda into champagne. It ruins the fresh batch instantly. Your manual tells you exactly how much oil you need. Follow it. Buy the right amount and use it fresh. No just topping up, no leftovers from last year. Oil is not something you recycle. And if that cocktail wasn't messy enough, wait until riders protect their filters into suffocation. Habit number 4, over-oiling filters. A well-oiled filter keeps dust out. True, but too much of a good thing can choke your bike. Here's what riders get wrong. They soak that foam filter until it drips. Looks thorough and right, but all that excess oil doesn't just stay put. It seeps into the airbox, clogs sensors, and gums up the throttle body. Suddenly, your bike runs rich, sputters, and drinks more fuel than ever. Over-oiling also blocks airflow. And what does your engine need most, besides fuel? Air. Starve it, and you lose power, efficiency, and smooth throttle response. Oil your filter lightly and evenly. Follow the instructions for your filter type, not your gut feeling. Some filters even use spray-on oil for a precise coat. No puddles, no mess. Wipe away any drips before reinstalling. Remember, filters stop dirt, not air. Your job is balance. Enough oil to trap dust, not so much that your bike suffocates. Don't drown your engine in protection, because sometimes too much care is just slow damage in disguise. Still, the cruelest suffocation doesn't come from the intake. It comes from slowly cooking the very battery that makes the first spark. Habit number 3, letting the battery trickle all year. Your motorcycle's battery is like its heartbeat. Small, quiet, but absolutely essential. No battery, no start. Yet riders unknowingly kill it with old-school wisdom. Here's the mistake: plugging in a basic trickle charger and forgetting it for months. Sounds responsible, right? Always charged, always ready. But here's the ugly truth: those chargers never quit. They push current non-stop. Over weeks, that slow drip becomes poison. The result? Dried out cells, swollen cases, and a battery that dies long before its time. Lithium batteries suffer even worse. Overcharge them, and you risk swelling, failure, or a fire hazard. Not exactly the kind of ride you were planning. Use a smart maintainer. These devices sense when your battery is low. Feed it gently, then rest. No overcharging, no stress. Just clean, steady power when you actually need it. If your bike sits for winter or downtime, don't cook the heartbeat that brings it to life. Choose the right charger or disconnect it completely, because once your battery gives up, your adventure ends before it begins. Habit number 2, lubing chain after ride. You've just finished a ride. The bike's warm, the chain's spinning hot, and you think, perfect time to lube it. Metal's hot, lube flows easy, job done. You're wasting your effort. When you spray on a hot chain, the solvents in that lube evaporate too quickly. What sticks? Almost nothing. Most of it just flings off the moment you roll again. You get poor penetration, weak protection, and a greasy mess on your swing arm. Chains don't just need a shine, they need protection inside the rollers, where the real wear happens. That only happens if the lube stays long enough to soak in, and that's why timing matters more than you think. The golden rule? Lube before you ride. Not after, because as you roll, the chain warms gently and the lube spreads evenly through every link. You get proper coverage, real protection, and far less waste. Stop pampering your chain at the wrong time. Treat it right, and it'll last thousands more miles. And when it's time to hit the road again, some riders undo all that care by packing their bikes like circus elephants on stilts. Habit number 1, tail-heavy loading. Big trips need big luggage. Tools, spares, water, everything stuffed in that giant tail box. It is convenient but not safe for your bike. Not even close. Here's the problem. Load it all way behind the rear axle, and you've just built a lever. Every bump, every pothole, that lever pries on your subframe. The result? Cracked tabs, loosened bolts, or worse, your tail section snapping mid-ride. Not the kind of souvenir you want. And it doesn't stop there. All that weight hanging off the back makes your suspension cry. The rear shock overheats. Handling turns sloppy. Suddenly, your bike wallows in corners, wobbles at speed, and feels like riding on a marshmallow. Stability gone, safety gone. So what's best? Keep weight low and forward. Heavy gear goes in panniers or a tank bag, not stacked sky-high behind you. Know your rack's weight rating and respect it. Add braces if you're touring heavy, and always recheck your bolts after loading. Your bike isn't a pack mule. Treat it like one, and it'll brake like one. Bonus number 1. Do not frequent too short trips. Short trips never let oil reach full operating temperature, and cold oil never heats up, which means condensation stays trapped, fuel doesn't evaporate, acids don't burn off. They all throw a party inside your crankcase. Sludge, rust, corrosion. And guess who pays the bill? Your engine. The worst part? No warning light, no smoke signals. Just slow, quiet decay every time you crank it. Ride 2 blocks and shut it down. Silent murder on repeat. The cure is stupid simple. Ride longer. Give it 20-30 minutes. That's when oil hits fighting temp and actually cleans house. Your bike breathes easier, runs smoother, and thanks you with more miles. So the next time you think it's just a quick spin, hear this. Short trips aren't rides, they're slow poison. Stretch the ride or skip it, because saving 10 minutes today could cost you an engine tomorrow. Bonus number 2, store your bike with a fuel stabilizer. Modern ethanol gas starts spoiling in just 7 to 10 days. That's right, your premium fill-up turns into sour sludge faster than milk left in the sun. And when it spoils, your bike pays. Bad fuel gums up injectors, clogs idle jets, fouls spark plugs, and leaves sticky varnish in your lines. It even chews at fuel pump seals. You're not parking a bike, you're slow strangling it from the inside. Use Fuel Stabilizer. A cap full of Sta-Bil, Seafoam, or any decent brand keeps gas fresh, lines clean, and your system safe. It's cheap, it's easy. It's the difference between a bike that fires up in spring and one that cranks, sputters, and dies. If you are a weekend warrior, add a stabilizer to the tank. Winter storage? Fill the tank, stabilize, relax. Even if your ride sits just a week, use it. Don't be that rider blaming the bike when it won't start. It's not bad luck, it's bad habits. Your motorcycle isn't dying, it's being murdered by habits. The good news? Now you know how to stop. Treat your bike right and it'll outlive your excuses. Like, subscribe, and comment. Which bad habits have you been guilty of? And what fixes actually worked for you? Let's hear your story.